When you look at emotional intelligence, which is, by the way, the only known predictor of future success, and I'm going to suggest to you that there's another one coming up, and that is not just emotional intelligence, but adaptive intelligence. How quickly can you change to new and different circumstances? But if we get back to emotional intelligence, the only known predictor of future success until we talk about adaptive intelligence, the number one skill in emotional intelligence is being aware of what you're feeling now, and being able to articulate that in such a way that someone else could understand. In my humble but probably most accurate opinion, I reckon only 50% of the population could tell you exactly what it is they're feeling right now. Most of us run on automatic, and we tend to not know how we feel because it's just dictating what we're doing. I feel a little bit uneasy today, or I feel a bit uncertain. Why is that? I don't really know. That kind of a conversation you'll find happens a lot. So I reckon 50% of the population are running on automatic. They actually don't know what's propelling them. They actually don't know what they're feeling. And I'll give you a classic example. Like I said, in my humble but most accurate opinion, most people who are angry are not really angry. They're angry as a reaction to something. In other words, something has probably, in all likelihood, scared them or worried them or concerned them, and they're angry because that's their way of pushing that feeling away. So what they do is that the uncertainty of what might happen becomes certain when we become angry, because blame is an easy thing to do. And blame I can get on with. Now that I know what the target is, I can get angry with that, scare it away, and maybe I'll return to normal. So a lot of people are not aware of what they're feeling. What we need to do is tune into that, because if you don't know what's running you, you can't do anything with it. Which brings us to the second skill in emotional intelligence, and that is being able to not just articulate what you're feeling, but change what you're feeling as a deliberate act of will. In other words, I've got a 3-year-old granddaughter. She could do this like that. We can be playing and she's happy as anything. I say, time to go to bed, and she'll say no and get angry. And then I say, well, if we come to bed, I'll read your story. Boom, she can turn herself back from happy. She can get out of angry like that and into happy like at a moment's notice. I noticed with my own children one day that, we were getting out of the car, and I think my daughter was 4 or 5 years old when I closed the door and it slammed. She caught her fingers in the door, and there was an enormous amount of pain there, and her hands were stuck in the door, and I reached forward and I grabbed the door and yanked it open. I said, oops, isn't that funny? And she laughed. She was about to cry because of the pain, but she was able to shift into laughter because I was able to crack the joke at the right time. We have that ability to choose how we feel. It's just if you're not used to it, then it feels foreign. It feels like it's not natural. It feels like you're doing something odd because we're used to having the circumstances dictate to us. Which leads us to the main question about awareness. Most people say to me, the commonly asked question I get is, why can't I do the things that I know that are good for me, that when the last time I did them, they worked really well and I was really happy and I was highly successful with it and it was really going along. For some reason I stopped. Now the version of that question is, why can't I stop doing the things that I know that are bad for me, that the last time I stopped them, life turned into a magical experience, So why can't I keep going to the gym when I want to go to the gym and I've paid the membership? Why can't I stop smoking when last time I stopped smoking, it was great? Why? And the real reason why people don't know is that what they don't know is what's happening at the time feels good. In other words, what feels good about the cigarette is how it makes me feel in the moment. Long term, it's going to kill me. It's going to be a very slow, early, painful, expensive death. But right now, you beauty. Same with chocolate, same with alcohol, same with shopaholic, workaholic, any of the things that have got holic written on them, on the end of them. What it means is I'm addicted to them because I'm addicted to how they make me feel right now. A lot of these things feel really, really good. As a consequence of that, I'm exchanging the future, which is not here at the moment, it's kind of like imagined and not really with us, for right now, and right now is a pretty powerful concept. What that means is I'm kind of a victim of what's going on right now rather than the longer term vision for my life. You see, if I wanted to lose some weight, then I need to be focused on what I want to look like, feel like, and be energetically rather than what I want right now, because what I want right now is a pie with sauce or a chocolate. Whereas I can I can not resist that. As soon as I start to talk about it, starts to create pictures in my mind, smells, tastes, all those kind of things, that becomes an overwhelming, overpowering sensation, which I kind of pretty much am going to fall prey to unless I get to focus on the longer term future. And that is, okay, what do I value? What's important to me? And what's more important to me is how long I live and how healthy I am and what shape my body is in and how much energy I have when I wake up in the morning. And so I can look at the pie with sauce and, to me, that's a very attractive thing. I understand for some of you that's pretty ordinary, but whatever it is that's very attractive to you, then what I do is I look at that and I go, little window. Right now, yep, it fills up the window. Big window, it's down there in the corner, and what I really want is to be the person who's of his word. I want to look like I want to look. I want to feel like I want to feel. And therefore, the pie with sauce becomes a small, very ordinary thing. How do we do that? What is the exercise I'm going to recommend to you that you use to turn this kind of thinking into results? Basically, it boils down to a very simple concept, and that is become aware of how you're feeling all the time. So find half a dozen times in the day when you can stop what you're doing, tune in and ask yourself, how am I feeling? Now, typically that might be when you walk out of the back door of your house to go to work. It might be when you get in the car, turn the keys on, or when you put the seatbelt on. It might be when you step in the shower. Maybe before each meal, you take a moment just to stop and ask yourself how I feel. Now, some of those occasions is more than just how I feel. When you walk out the back door, you might stop, and basically I've got a rule. When I walk out the back door, I've got to go down one step. So what I do is as I go down one step, the other foot comes and lands on the ground beside it, and I have to stay there for the length of a full breath in and a full breath out. And during that breathe in and breathe out, I get still and I ask myself, what's going on for me right now? What sensations are in my body? What precursor to emotions are there? Quite often what I find is I'm a bit tense because I'm running late, or I've got to go to something that's going to be difficult, or I'm in the car and I'm going to deal with the traffic or whatever it is. I would be totally unaware of that tension without stopping and becoming aware. So there are plenty of times in the day when you can set that up for yourself. I'm deliberately only giving you a few examples so you can work it out for yourself. With the meal times, then what I'm going to suggest you do is you not just stop and see how you feel, but you also tune into the things that you want to do. Check out some of the other videos I've done in this series. In one of them, I mentioned the whole idea of a personal mantra. So I like to say my mantra, not just when I'm meditating, but each time that I eat, because it's a chance for me to get my brain in the right condition so that once again, before I dive into the food, and mostly miss that because I'm not present to it, is to bring myself into the moment, turn up to the food, be grateful about it, say my mantra, which talks about the man I want to be, the man I want to display, the man I have to continuously work on, and then the food can come and I can enjoy the food. I can be a lot more slow and careful and gentle and grateful with it, and that of course multiplies its effect on me. So half a dozen times in the day, tune into what you're feeling, and a couple of times a day, determine what you're feeling by using the mantra. Like I said, some days you'll manage this a dozen times, other days once or twice, doesn't really matter, just get it into your life. That's the main thing. Give it a go.